Hi, folks. My name's Ian Abelson. I'm the Stewardship Manager for Six Rivers Land Conservancy, and welcome to Sutherland Nature Sanctuary in Lapeer County. So, Six Rivers Land Conservancy is a nonprofit land conservancy in southeast Michigan. We protect natural habitat in 5 different counties: Oakland, Macomb, Lapeer, Genesee, and St. Clair counties. So today for the StewTalk, I kind of want to go back to basics, at least back to basics for a land conservancy. So I am the stewardship manager of Six Rivers, which means that I help monitor and manage the areas that we protect, the natural areas we protect. But before I can do any work, we need to protect natural land in the first place. And there are 3 different ways we can go about that. So there are preserves that we own and manage. There are conservation easements on private land that are agreements with Six Rivers, legal agreements. And then there are assists, which are areas that will become future park systems. So we'll start with preserves. So this area, Sutherland Nature Sanctuary, this is a preserve. So we own this land. We own it, we can manage it, we can do whatever we need to do to try and keep the natural areas healthy. So that can include removing invasive species. That can include ensuring that natural systems that are important to keep this ecosystem healthy, things like prescribed burns, we can make sure that those happen. So we come about preserves in a variety of different ways. Sometimes landowners that own areas like Sutherland will donate them to a land conservancy to make sure that they're protected and well managed well into the future. Sometimes, for especially rare or threatened or ecologically important habitats or ecosystems, we'll raise money or apply for grants and be able to purchase that land directly from the landowner and make sure that it's protected that way. Now, our preserves, after we own them, end up in a couple of different states, sort of. Some of our preserves, like Sutherland here, have trail systems, they have bathrooms, they have public parking, they're really easy for the public to come and enjoy the nature that we protect. And others don't necessarily have all of that infrastructure. They don't have great areas for parking, or they don't have bathrooms, or the trail system is informal and not quite as nice and clear as the trails that we have here. So that's one option. We can own land ourselves. Second option is a conservation easement. So a conservation easement is for land that's private and will stay private into the future. That land will not be owned by us. It will not be accessible to the public. Now, those private landowners, they can be an individual landowner, or they can be a public entity. So if it's a public entity, obviously the land will be walked by the public, but that's not what the conservation easement does. So the easement can be thought of as a donation of the development rights for that property. So basically, we are entering into this agreement that says that never in the future will this land be developed. It can't all be torn down to put in a parking lot, a strip mall, or even to sort of extend the manicured, developed area of that property. So this can come about in a couple of different ways. A lot of the times with a private landowner, say somebody lives in an area where they own 20, 50, 100 acres of forest or wetland, and they want to make sure that that remains forest or wetland into the future, they'll often approach us and say, hey, I want to put an easement on this property so that it stays natural for maybe their grandkids, or just to make sure that whoever ends up with the land in the future, they can't start dividing it up and developing it. For public entities, for things like townships or counties or cities, sometimes it's just a way to make sure that whatever happens in terms of varying people rotating around in those public entities, that those natural areas will once again remain natural. So, preserves, conservation easements, and then the last option is assists. So assists are solely for land that's going to be a future park. Say a township or something has its eye on some land that's up for sale that they think, hey, that would make a fantastic park system, but they don't necessarily have the funds immediately available to go and purchase that land. Well, we have some funding sources that we can use as a land conservancy to go out and purchase that land and just sort of hold on to it. Usually we have a contract to hold on to it for maybe a year or two, and then the township, after it's gotten a chance to get a hold of some funding, can purchase it from us. So this just takes the land off the market to make sure that the parkland doesn't get snapped up by someone else in the meantime. Now, for how the township or city goes about getting that money, there are more traditional means to raise those funds, or they can apply for grants. One of the best programs that we have for that in Michigan is called the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. And it's a program that's unique to Michigan, and they're dollars that are set aside only for the purchase of future parkland or for improvements to existing parkland. All right. So that's what I have for this video. Once again, I'm Ian Abelson with Six Rivers Land Conservancy. And if you're interested in supporting our mission of protecting natural habitat in Southeast Michigan, you can donate on our website at sixriversrlc.org. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.